it's Wendy from the Nomadic Vegan, and I am getting ready for a big trip. I am so excited. Tomorrow, August 22nd, 2017, I am going to be boarding a plane for Johannesburg, South Africa, and for the next 3 months, I will be traveling around South Africa and also 5 other countries in the region, and those are Mozambique, Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Namibia. So stay tuned for more videos about those and all the discoveries that I make there. But before I get there, I'm doing some research so that I will know what kind of foods I can expect to find, what kind of places I can expect to be eating at for the next 3 months while I'm in Africa. And I just wanted to give you a quick run through and show you what that research looks like. I'm always telling you to do your research before you travel because it will make your travels run a lot more smoothly, but maybe you don't really know what that means and exactly how to go about doing that research. So I'm going to take you on that journey with me right now. Let's do it. First thing that I do when I'm researching a new destination is I go to HappyCow. So it's happycow.net, and if you're not already familiar with HappyCow, it's a fabulous resource. It's a crowdsourced directory of vegan restaurants, vegetarian restaurants, and just veg-friendly restaurants all over the world. And they now also are starting to show other things besides restaurants. They have organizations such as vegan associations, and they also have hotels and other B&Bs, other types of accommodation. So it's a great place to find things. This is always the first thing that I do. So you would just type in your destination here. So for example, my first city is Johannesburg, so I'm gonna see what the vegan options are in Johannesburg. And we will see that there are quite a few actually. So we found 39 results for Johannesburg, and that includes everything. That includes vegan, vegetarian, places that serve meat but also have veg options, and stores and more. So that would typically be health food stores and things like that. And you can see there's also a delivery place that delivers vegan ice cream to your accommodation. So that would be pretty cool. And you can see it's a mix of veg-friendly, vegetarian, and also a few vegan in here as well. So let's just see if we take out the veg options and also the stores. If we want to see just the vegan restaurants and the vegetarian restaurants, then you'd see we still have 12 restaurants just in one city. That's pretty good, and you can see them on the map over on the right hand side, and they're also color coded. So the green markers, these are vegan restaurants, and then the purple markers, those are vegetarian restaurants. So we're set up pretty well in Johannesburg by the looks of things. But that's not always going to be the case. So for example, let's try Zambia, which is another one of the countries that I'm going to be going to. All right, so you can see that they have listings for 2 cities in Zambia. The first one is Lusaka, which is the capital, and there's also another city, Ndola, I believe it's pronounced, and that is the 3rd largest city in Zambia. All right, we didn't get any results, but that's because I had unchecked veg options and stores and more. So let's go back and recheck those and see if anything comes up. All right, so we've got 3 results here, and none of them are vegan or vegetarian restaurants, but they are local restaurants that do offer veg options, so can be considered veg-friendly to some degree. So yeah, not as promising as Johannesburg, but it does tell us that there are a few things, but you know, I'm going to be traveling all over Zambia. I'm not going to be just in the capital, so I want to get a better idea of what else I might be able to find even in cities that don't have any listings here on HappyCow at all. So that's the first thing I want to tell you, is that if you don't find anything on HappyCow, don't freak out. And in many places you'll find loads of listings on HappyCow, and you may not need to look any farther than this at all. But if you don't find that much, then what you want to do next is start researching the local cuisine and not specific restaurants, but researching the cuisine, the actual food that people eat there, to find out what kinds of dishes you're likely to come across and which ones of those might be vegan. So in this particular case, my next step was to go to YouTube, actually. YouTube can be a great resource when you're trying to find out about food, because there are lots of people who are posting recipes and cooking demos and telling you all about the food that they eat on YouTube. So I would start probably with vegan Zambia, just to see if anything comes up. And actually we do have something. So here, this is a cooking demo. And so these two ladies are telling us that they're going to teach us how to make a traditional South African and vegan dish. So that's pretty cool. Now, we did search for Zambia and not South Africa, but the woman who's teaching is from Zambia, so that's why it comes up, because the word Zambia is in there. But that's a good start. I would definitely check that video out. I would save it to a special playlist, and then I would go back and watch it and find out what this dish is, and then I'd write down the name, remember what it's called, so that I can ask for it when I'm in South Africa, and maybe when I'm in Zambia. It might also be popular there, who knows. Then I would just kind of look through the rest of these to see if any of the others are relevant, and of course you are going to get some non-vegan food dishes. So for example, this is some kind of small fish, looks like sardines, so we want to skip over that. Oh, here is a guy, Rotel for Fitness, who actually did a trip around Zimbabwe, and that is another country that I'm going to be visiting. So even though it came up in the Zambia search, it's still relevant for this particular trip. And I've already done this search before, so I can tell you that he has a whole series of these videos about him traveling around as a vegan in Zimbabwe. So I haven't watched those yet, but I'm definitely going to check those out. So that's what vegan Zambia turned up. I would probably then try vegetarian Zambia, see if we got any more there. Still the sardines, even though that's not vegetarian. So you just have to kind of ignore those. We've also got Phuket, which is in Thailand, so not really relevant to what we're looking for here. We've got, again, that series of videos in Zimbabwe. Alright, so there's not too much more. Oh, here's a vegan dinner in Burkina Faso, which is another part of Africa, a different country, which I've been to before, not going to on this trip. But I would be curious to see what that is. So that's another one that I would probably check out. And if we don't get any more from that, then I would just start searching for things like Zambian recipes or Zambian food. And of course we're going to have to weed through, you know, a lot of meat-based dishes, but we're probably going to find a lot of veggie ones too. And actually this was a great find. You can see that the first 3 hits are all by the same channel. It's called Timsy Bites. And so she has a number of videos that she makes, and she also has a connected blog. So let's go take a look at her blog, which I found when I first did this search on YouTube. That's how I came across her. And so she is a Zambian food blogger, and you can see that she has both Zambian cuisine and non-African cuisine. So let's check out her Zambian cuisine, and we'll see the different recipes that she posts. This is a new one actually that she's put up since I first made this search, so I'm gonna have to check that one out because that looks like that's also gonna be vegan. Samp, this one is vegan. Obviously Village Chicken is not, but I went through she's got 4 different pages here of Zambian recipes, and I found that almost all of them were vegan. So here we've got a bean dish, we've got a green leafy vegetable dish, mealie meal, that's like a corn meal. It's the staple in Zambia and in a lot of African countries. That's totally vegan. We've got more green leafy vegetables, more green leafy vegetables. I'm going to be eating lots of greens in Africa from what I can tell, which is great. That's going to be really healthy for me. Oh, check this out. Okay, she has something called chikanda, which she describes as African ham. And I don't know what made me click on this. Normally I would just skim right over it and be like, oh, ham, I don't want to see that. But something told me it might be worth checking out. And it was, because this is actually a completely vegan dish. So this is traditional Zambian food, but it's actually a plant-based meat. So it's made from a root that is grown that grows in Zambia. It's called, the name of the root is chikanda, and then the name of this plant-based meat that you can make from the root is also called chikanda. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Even the African ham is vegan. So yeah, came up with all kinds of things for Zambian recipes, and again, I'm going to save those. I like to save them in Pocket. I have my little Pocket Chrome extension here. You can just save them as bookmarks, or print them out, do whatever you want to do. Actually, don't print them out. Don't waste paper if you don't need to. But save them however you like to, and have them handy when you go travel so that you know what these dishes are and what you can look out for. So yeah, first HappyCow, then YouTube. I would probably do a similar search in Google as well, just to get perhaps more food bloggers and other kinds of written sources as opposed to video sources. So I'll just show you one example of one of the blogs that I came across. Yeah, this is it. It's called Pieces of Change. This is for Malawi, actually, which is another one of the countries that I'm going to be going to in the next 3 months. And this blog was written by a Canadian volunteer with Engineers Without Borders who was living in Malawi for some time. And she writes about a cake, a banana cake that she learned how to make. And this is completely vegan. She's given the whole recipe here. And you can see that there are no animal products at all. And so she photographed the whole process so you can see her friends, the local villagers in Malawi, teaching her how to make this African vegan banana cake, which is really cool. Alright, so then after a Google search, and again I would start by searching for vegan and then the name of the destination, then vegetarian and the name of the destination, and if you don't get much from there, then I would just go to more general sites and look for recipes. So, if it's Malawi, then I would say Malawian recipes or Malawian food or Malawian cuisine, and see what you come up with. There may be a Wikipedia article about it, which may give you good information. And then the final thing that I would do is Facebook. Facebook can be a fantastic way, particularly of connecting with local vegans or just with locals who are willing to give you that insider information that you're looking for. So I would start by searching for, let's say, vegan South Africa. And I know that we're going to find plenty here because the vegan movement is actually really booming in South Africa. Not so much in the other countries that I'm going to be visiting, but South Africa does have a strong and growing vegan movement and community, so I'm really excited about hooking up with them. So type in vegan South Africa, you'll get different options, you'll get pages, you'll get groups. I would start with groups because that's a really great way to connect with people. So you can see there are a couple here that I have joined already, because again, I've already done this research. So the Vegan Society of South Africa, also Johannesburg, South Africa Vegan, and there are more here that I might want to decide to join as well to connect with even more South African vegans. So groups is probably the best kind of search to do. You can also search for pages, and that will give you businesses, including restaurants, for example, and also organizations. So again, we've got the South Africa Vegan Society, but we've also got other things that don't come up in groups. So for example, this is a sanctuary, the Blue Donkey Sanctuary, which sounds awesome. I would love to go see donkeys in South Africa. And then you've got the Vegan Kitchen, ready-made meals, so that looks like maybe it's a private catering thing. We've got another NGO here, Vegan Goods Market, so that's some kind of vegan grocery store. So you've got all kinds of options there. But yeah, like I said, the first thing that I would do is join those groups and then post in there and ask questions, tell people that you're going to be visiting, and ask them if they can give you insider tips about where to go, what to eat, what to do, and you might even meet up with them on your trip. They might be very happy to go out for a meal with you, for example, and you might make some great friends that way. So you'll notice if I try this with other countries on my trip, you won't get as many results. So let's see, let's do vegan Zambia, for example. What do we get? All right, so we're on pages. Like I said, I would start with groups. Do we have any groups? No, we couldn't find anything for vegan Zambia. All right, so in that case, I would probably go to pages next. Okay, so we've got a restaurant here. Ooh, a vegetarian vegan restaurant. So let's see, is that actually in Zambia? Where is it? Yes, it is. This is a vegetarian/vegan restaurant in Lusaka, Zambia. So that's something that did not come up on HappyCow. So keep that in mind too. HappyCow is a fantastic resource. I love it. I use it all the time. But they don't know everything, and it's only as good as we, the community, make it, because it's crowdsourced, and it's up to us to keep adding places and adding new listings. And this one has slipped through the cracks, so that's really cool. There is actually a vegetarian or vegan restaurant in Lusaka, and I will be sending a message to this restaurant and checking them out for sure. Alright, so that's it, guys. That's a quick overview of how I do my research when I'm planning a trip. Let me know, is there anything that you do that I didn't mention here? Do you have any other tips for how you can prepare for vegan travel and make sure that you don't miss out on the local specialties and that you get the most out of your trip? Let me know in the comments below. Bye!